everybody. We are live. Good morrow. Happy Saturday. It is chilly out there. Of course it's chilly because there is a polar vortex on the way. I love these names that they give to weather events. Polar vortex is one of my favorites. It just sounds scary. From what I understand, that means we will soon be getting snow. I like the snow. I don't even mind shoveling the snow. Sure, it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but it's fun. Especially having a 3-year-old, we can, have a snowball fight. We can build a snowman and do all sorts of snow-related activities. He likes to eat the snow, but I'm looking forward to it. And his old babysitter Lorraine, my friend Lorraine Scanny, who's a good friend for many years, she got him a sled, which we didn't get much use out of last couple of years because there wasn't much snow. But I think now he's getting even a little big for it. Now we can probably get some good use out of that sled and once it snows. So I don't know if it's going to start today. I don't know if it's going to start tomorrow, but the snow, sure enough, is coming. When it'll get here, who knows? We'll see. Thank you to everybody who is tuned in to watch. Cynthia Nancy Willis, Cynthia Fallu, Mary Tanner, John Kwok, and Christina Riker on Instagram, as well as everybody like Michael Scott Cutler tuning in on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, please be so good as to do the triple threat. Like, comment, share. Let me put this down for a second. Hey, who watching has a stomach virus? I talked about this on the radio the other day. It seems like the whole world has a stomach bug. And my wife and I both had it. My son Carmine had it. All 3 of my siblings had it. The only person in my family who was able to escape it, at least on my dad's side, was my father. He didn't get it, and I don't think my stepmother has gotten it, but she's been in Ohio trying to help John Hudson Dilgen with some stuff that he's dealing with. That's a story for another day, but he's having a tough time, and we're wishing him the very best. But my mom has not gotten it either, but she's very careful. She's very careful with staying away from folks and not risking infection. So there's that. All right. In terms of a lot going on today. So let me know if you have a stomach bug. Give me a thumbs up or an indication that you have the stomach bug. Just curious how pervasive this is. I'm wondering, I'm supposed to be tomorrow. Monday is my sister's birthday, and we're supposed to be at a birthday party for her tomorrow. Birthday dinner. Not sure if that's still going to happen with everybody having the stomach bug. I think as of this morning, the latest was everybody was feeling better, but we'll see. Yeah, Neil says everyone is sick. Lorraine says, so far no virus, but I've been hibernating from the cold and people. Well, I get it. That's what happens. But so I don't know if this party is going to take place tomorrow. I imagine if everybody's feeling better, it probably will. Stacy says, happy Saturday, Frank. I'd love to get your suggestions on what to get Claudia as a birthday gift, because she is in her mid to late 20s. I'm not going to say exactly how old she is, but she, like I think a lot of us, if there was something that she wanted, she would go out and just buy it. See, this is why everyone should really have a gift registry. You know how there's a registry for a wedding or for a baby shower or whatever else? Every person should have a registry, and it's easy to do now with Amazon. They have an Amazon wish list, and this way, anytime you need a gift for someone, you could go onto that wish registry, that Amazon wish list, and say, oh, Claudia needs a new pair of running shoes. Oh, no one's gotten it for you yet. I'll get that. I think that's such a better way for society to carry itself. Eric Ulrich checking us out on Instagram. Thank you for the commentary on Twitter with respect to congestion pricing. I think you and I are absolutely on the same page. DJ Brink, I think that's Matt Sambolin, or as he's known on the Arthur Idala program, Sambolino. Most celebrities have wish lists and their fans buy them all for them. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. Well, my sister her main claim to fame at this point is that she is the sibling of a celebrity. She also went to high school with Timothy Chalamet as well. So did my brother Alexander. I think Claudia liked him, not necessarily romantically, just as a person. But from what I recall, don't quote me on this, don't hold me to this. From what I recall, Alexander wasn't crazy about him. So I'd have to check. I have not seen that new Bob Dylan movie that he's in, but I am told that it's quite good. I don't know if anybody has seen it. So I don't know. That's that. All right. What else do I have for you? So if you have a gift suggestion, Neil says a new car is always appreciated. Stacy Marie says every woman loves to enjoy a day at the spa. That is not a bad suggestion. So maybe I'll pick a spa near her. Or should I do it on Staten Island where our parents live? That is not a bad suggestion. That's good. I like that. I may go with that, Stacy. I owe you one if we implement that. Okay. So we'll see with that. If you have any gift suggestions, please give a comment there. Meantime, I'll tell you, speaking of vomiting, I'll tell you what is really making me want to vomit. It is what is going on with congestion pricing. So congestion pricing begins in 14 hours, less than 14 hours, 13 and a half hours tonight, midnight tonight. This is crazy. And just so you know where I'm coming from, my views have evolved over this. When Mike Bloomberg first proposed this in, I guess, 2007, 2008, I thought it had some promise. This plan that is being implemented right now, it's a total joke. It has nothing to do with congestion. It's actually going to make traffic congestion worse in areas outside of downtown Manhattan. It's going to make air pollution worse in areas outside lower Manhattan. It has nothing to do with traffic congestion because I drive in at night. I'm going to have to pay a congestion pricing fee. Do you know what traffic I have when I drive in at night most of the time? Unless there's an accident or major construction, 90% of the time, there's no traffic. I fly into Manhattan. I'm not the problem. Overnight workers are not the problem. So why would you put a tax on us and say it's in the name of congestion when we're not the problem in terms of congestion? It's a joke. It is a total joke. And it was carried out so dishonestly where Governor Hochul pushed pause before the election because there were a lot of Democrats running in competitive districts that didn't want to have to answer for congestion pricing. And then as soon as the election's over, and especially with Donald Trump getting elected, who says once he's elected, they're never going to implement congestion pricing, he would terminate it. They say, all right, well, now that the election is over, we're implementing it. But just for good measure, we're implementing it before Donald Trump gets in. So this is crazy. And the thing is, I drive into Manhattan not because I have an issue with mass transit. I love mass transit. I used to take the express bus in all the time. I used to take the ferry into work. I've taken mass transit in for most of my life. I take my car in because to take mass transit at the time I need to come into work would add about another 2 hours to my commute because there's not a reliable mass transit infrastructure in place where I live. So I could understand if I had all these mass transit options that I was just ignoring, and all of a sudden they said, all right, well, you're not taking this, you're not taking that, all this stuff's available to you. You still want to drive in anyway? Here, you're going to have to pay a little toll to do that. But I don't have the option. And I think most of the people that do drive in, a lot of them live in transit deserts. So it's so offensive, egregious, and dishonest. I've got a major problem with it. So it's starting tonight. My favorite is what they are now calling the congestion pricing zone. So yesterday, they put up these signs. They're now in Midtown. You could see them. I was watching New York 1 this morning because, let's face it, there's only so much courtesy that you could take early in the morning. And they have these signs put up that say, Congestion relief zone. No, who doesn't want congestion relief? It sounds great. Sounds like you're blowing your nose. It sounds like you're squirting a saline solution up your nose. Congestion relief zone sounds great. It should really be called the regressive tax zone, the dishonest regressive tax zone that we implemented after the election. It's crazy. Congestion relief zone. Whoever came up with that branding for these signs deserves a raise for creativity. Either that or they deserve to be flogged for dishonesty. But one thing I tweeted about this, I posted about it on my Facebook page. I know former state senator Diane Savino, who is an advisor to Mayor Adams now and a good friend of mine, tweeted about this as well. One thing that adds even more insult to injury is the MTA has rolled out these new fare discounts. And on the surface, it sounds great. Weekly fare caps. It means unlimited subway and bus rides after 12 trips in a week. I love this idea. It means, and it's similar to what the MTA actually used to do, meaning you take 12 subway trips in a week or 12 bus trips in a week. Everything else is free. Everything else is gravy. It incentivizes people to take mass transit. Wonderful idea. And if you do take mass transit a lot, it gives you a little bit of a break. But not if you're an express bus rider. If you're an express bus rider, as I often am, and as a lot of people in Staten Island happen to be, guess what? No caps, no discounts, nothing. Zip, zilch, zero, nada. You're still shelling out $7 a ride every ride. So subway and bus riders hit $34 in fares in a week and then ride free. Reduced fare customers only have to pay $17 before getting unlimited trips. But express bus riders, you could spend $70 a week or more, which is easy to do if you take the bus to work and back from work, and you're still paying full price every time. Where's the fairness? How can they exclude express bus riders from this? Express buses aren't a luxury. They're often the only reasonable transit option for working people that live in places like Staten Island, where you don't have access to a subway. And yet these riders, my people, are being left out in the cold, even when there's not a polar vortex, subsidizing fare caps for everyone else while paying more per ride than anyone else. So the MTA says it's committed to equity, but how is this equitable? With congestion pricing, you're going to have people, at least this is the stated goal of it, you're going to have more people turning to mass transit. How can you screw the express bus riders like this? It is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. And honestly, it's going to hurt me. I mean, I think I'm going to, as an overnight commuter, I think I'm going to shell out $5 a ride to go to work. That's another $25 a week to start. By the way, you can bet it's going to be much worse. $25 a week. That's a lot of money. It's another $100 a month. It's another $1,200 a year. I am not happy about this at all. So we'll see what happens. But I am hoping that, it's going to be very difficult to undo this once it starts. I had hoped that this court hearing on Friday that New Jersey brought would at least kick the can down the road until January 20th. But who knows? Maybe they can, maybe once President Trump is in, maybe then they can do something. We'll see. The one thing I do have to give Governor Hochul credit for, and I'm a critic of hers, never voted for her for anything, never voted for her for lieutenant governor or governor, and I honestly think she's done an awful job, and I don't think that's a partisan view. I think there's plenty of Democrats that think she's done a terrible job, even people that aren't seeking to run against her, like Andrew Cuomo and Richie Torres, and obviously there's a lot of Republicans that think she's done a terrible job. But one thing that she came out in favor of on Friday, which I thought she was right on the money, was broader use of Kendra's law. I mean, if there's one thing that we are long overdue for, it's for New York to be taking the severely mentally ill off the streets And unfortunately, this is a problem that got so much worse under both Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio. They view, and again, I'm not trying to make this a partisan issue at all, but they viewed mental illness, severe mental illness, people that are schizophrenic or delusional, as a civil right to be protected instead of a public health ailment and a threat to public safety that needs to be curtailed. So I was very pleased that Governor Hochul said yesterday that she's making a broader push for Kendra's law and use of Kendra's law, because that is long overdue. And I'll applaud anybody that says that, including people that I might not necessarily agree with. So enough of that. We have a polar vortex coming, right? And that leaves the question, what becomes of the polar bear? You, if you're a Met fan, know who we're talking about. This guy, Pete Alonso, the polar bear. I am really hoping the Mets can re-sign him. If you believe what's being reported, he was such a great part of the playoff run that the Mets had last year, and such a great part of that final series. I think it was against Milwaukee or the Braves, where he hit that home run, where their playoff hopes would have been dashed. And he's such a great team leader. He is an incredible ball player. He was a little off with certain aspects of his game last year, but even being off, I think that he's just incredible. I would love to see him not only re-sign with the Mets, but potentially be made the captain of the Mets. Put a C on that shirt of his, make him the captain. What's being reported, and who knows if it's true, is that he's been offered 3 years, $90 million. Now, it's not my money, but apparently that's not good enough. And you know what happens is, and not just in baseball, but with agents getting in your ear, apparently his agent, Scott Boras, has convinced him that he could get him $200 million from some team. Now, the only team that's going to pay him close to what he's looking for is the Mets. So $90 million for 3 years, I mean, that's a lot of money, Once you have $90 million, how much more money do you need? He could probably get, a 5-year deal for, I don't know, $160 million. But I don't know that $200 million is in the realm of possibility, but it's not my money. So I hope it happens. I would love to see him stay in blue and orange, because he was such an integral part of this Met team. And we put a couple of other things together. We re-signed Minaya. Again, I don't know why we who are sports fans have the tendency to do that. It's not my money. I'm not playing on the team, but you still say we. But it would be great if the Mets could re-sign the polar bear and make an announcement about this very soon. So I found myself awake this morning at 4:42 in the morning, and I got some work done. I did some writing, wrote a couple of memos, caught up on a couple of articles. And then usually I start with the radio, and then Curtis gets to a point where I meet my Curtis cap. And especially on the weekends, there's not a ton of other great radio programming. So sometimes I'll put something on in the background to watch. And so what I researched a couple of weeks ago was the best wrestling documentaries that are currently streaming on the WWE network, which is on Peacock. I'm hooked on these wrestling documentaries, just absolutely hooked. And what was very well reviewed was this documentary from 2006. And this was one of the documentaries that they said was one of the best documentaries that they had. And it was called Born to Controversy. And it was about this guy, Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper. So I finished watching it this morning because I was up so early, because it's difficult when you're on an overnight schedule during the week to just switch back to a conventional schedule during the weekend. If you're not a wrestling fan, you still may know Roddy Piper, because he was one of the few wrestlers to make that crossover from the world of pro wrestling to the world of kind of mainstream pop culture, doing movies like the terrific John Carpenter film They Live. That's a little too low. And it was really good. It was well done. Not great. I actually think, yes, Lorraine says They Live. That was a wonderful John Carpenter movie that he did where he's wearing those sunglasses and he has got that great line about bubblegum. But there was not a ton, if you followed the life and times of Roddy Piper, that you learned from this. Those are my favorite documentaries, whether it's about pro wrestling or anything else, where you really learn something, whether you know a little bit about the subject or a lot about the subject. I really enjoy when you can learn something new, and you don't really do that with this Born to Controversy. This was obviously filmed before he passed away, which I think was about 8 years ago. But Ellen says, are we still allowed to say Happy New Year? Last day. I think last day finishes the week today. As of tomorrow, you're out. Get all your Happy New Year's in now. So the thing I liked about it was, Miss M writes, no whining, they live. Yeah. And then I'm all out of bubble gum. That's right. But the thing that I liked about it is two things. There was great footage, a lot of great footage of his old matches and a lot of old great video footage. But then that was really it, I would say. Some good interviews with people, but on the whole, it's not a can't miss documentary. In fact, I actually thought the A&E biography they did on him was a little bit better, even though that left out a lot. So I don't know how this got rated on whatever website I was looking at. It was one of the best wrestling documentaries. It was good, but it can't compare to the even the Vince McMahon documentary series on Netflix, or the Andre the Giant documentary, or the Superstar Billy Graham documentary that's on the WWE Network, or the Bruno Sammartino documentary, the Andre the Giant documentary, the two Ric Flair documentaries, one on Peacock and one on ESPN's 30 for 30, both of which are similar. So, but it was interesting. The one thing that I don't know that I had a full appreciation of about Piper's career before he obviously left this plane, was that he would take frequent breaks. He would wrestle, he would do well, he would go on a whole big run, and then he would leave for 6 months, 7 months, maybe a year to go do movies, spend time with his family, do other things. And so when he came back, it was always special. And, I see that in radio a lot. To some extent, it was the difference when Rush Limbaugh was alive between Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, for instance. They were both on the same radio station at the time. But Rush, and I'm talking about 2006 here, right around there, Rush would do very few live events in those days. He used to do them much more frequently, but around that time, it was really special if Rush would be at something. Hannity would go to everything. He would be at these Freedom concerts and everything else. So I noticed, I went to Rush on Broadway, and it was such a special thing. Not only did all of the other on-air talent at WABC at the time, and I wasn't on-air talent, I was a producer, they not only did they all come, everybody, but you had a situation where the people that came to see Rush were all very well dressed. It was an event to see Rush. Whereas the people that would see Hannity a lot of these live events, it was just, oh, okay, another event with Hannity. And you know who told me that recently? Sid Rosenberg. He said, I'm not going to be like you, and he mentioned some of our other colleagues that go to everything. I want it to be a special thing that I go to. And I think that there's really something to be said for that. And I think Piper did that well. He never really got overexposed. He got, made money, certainly would do his thing, and then he would take a break, take a step back. Art Bell did that to some extent. I think Art maybe did it a little too much with the Art Bell, the radio talent. He would be around, do a show, then leave, then come back, then leave. I think he maybe did it a little too much. I think Piper did it quite effectively. And obviously, it's a shame that he was just another wrestler that died at such a young age. Randy Michelle says, "Good morning, Frank. Roddy is one of the best wrestlers to never hold the heavyweight title. So was Scott Hall when he played Razor Ramon. Roddy had a great intro." Yeah, you know what it was, and I was glad at least that he had the Intercontinental Championship. But you know what it was, and they should have made him a champion in WCW because he had a good run there in the like '96 or so. But whether it was Mid-Atlantic, whether it was NWA, whether it was WWF, whether it was WCW, Piper had such credibility and he was so over with the fans that he didn't need the world championship to get over. He was kind of like Andre the Giant in that way. Do I have an Andre? Yeah. Yeah, he was kind of like Andre the Giant in that way, in that Andre was so over with the fans and such an attraction that he didn't need the world championship to be seen as a draw. Same thing with Piper. People came out because it was Piper. So that's that. But so if you're a Piper fan and if you like seeing a lot of that old footage, I think it's worth watching. It's called Born to Controversy. It's on Peacock. As I said, I don't think it's necessarily as good as the documentary that they did on A&E, the A&E biography on Piper. All right, we have a busy day today. How did Piper die? I don't remember what the official cause of death was for Piper, Michael Cutler. I think it's like a lot of these guys, all these wrestlers die young, unfortunately. That's why the guys that make it to their 70s, like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and Bruno Sammartino, even later than that, are the exception. You look at all these guys, you know, they died very young. It's a very tough way to make a living. It's a very hard life. So we're taking down Christmas decorations today. That's on our agenda. I had hoped to keep them up until January 6th, Little Christmas. That is one of the many household debates that my wife has won and that I have lost. So my friend Jack on Instagram writes, "Who compares Roddy Piper and Rush Limbaugh?" I do. That's who. Boom. That's the way my brain works. Miss M asks, "Did you see the movie The Wrestler?" I did, and I enjoyed it very much. I thought it was quite good. So we're going to take down Christmas decorations today. That should be a lot of fun. And what's that? You know, Carmine, I'm going to have him answer for this. I'll ask him to come in here. Hey, Carmine, come here when you have a second, please. Carmine? Come to Daddy's office when you get a second. So Carmine broke one of my Christmas ornaments yesterday. And this was a Christmas ornament, a glass Christmas ornament. So I was quite sore at him that a listener had given me. And it was a listener, I believe his name is Dan. I had lunch with him maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. Always a very big supporter of my career. And he was a musician and he had a band. It was called Otis and the something. I want to say it was Otis and the Blue Notes. And he gave me an ornament that I loved. It was this blue glass ornament that he gave me. And we would hang it on our tree every year. And this flippin' kid broke my Christmas ornament. He did feel bad. He offered to buy me another one afterwards. But I'm trying to get in touch with this fella, and I'm sorry his name escapes me. I think his name was Dan. I have to reach out to Brian Whitman because apparently he befriended Whitman as well to see if he has his contact information. But he used to comment on all of my Facebook stuff. And now I haven't seen him comment on anything. So I don't know what happened to him, what became of him. Hope he's okay. If you're out there, Otis and the Blue Notes, let me know. Please email me. Just let me know you're okay. And then even more, not more important than being okay, but more pressing, at least for next Christmas, if you can get me another one of those ornaments, I'd appreciate it because I don't know where else to get them. He was quite a punk, this kid, breaking that ornament. Carmine, come here, please. Carmine, come here, please. Because I wanted to show you something. So, Claudia says of Roddy Piper, he died of a heart attack caused by a blood clot. There you have it. So there's that. What else? It's funny. I've talked about this before. When people are listeners, whether they call in, whether they engage on social media, and then if something happens, and I don't think this happened with this gentleman, I hope not anyway, Dan, is if they die, you don't know what happens to them. So I hope that everybody that listens and engages with me, that makes calls or emails or engages on social media, that they will, and I'm not being facetious here, they'll make some sort of arrangement to notify me when they pass away. Because otherwise, the audience is just left wondering, and I'm left wondering, quite frankly, what happened? What happened? So if you can make that a priority, that would be nice. Oh, and if you also can put me in your will, that would be helpful. By the way, speaking of money, if you are on Facebook, please become a subscriber to the Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/become supporter/Morano fan. Or as Brandon said, the easy way is to click the overview button under the comments box, then scroll to the bottom and click the subscribe button. We have Elliot Gordon in studio on Monday. So he is we'll activate the Elliot Gordon cam. You'll be able to see behind the scenes what Elliot sees, and we do some stuff just for the camera. And then we do exclusive videos and some other things. Right now, we're putting all the exclusive Morano Vision videos, not all of them, but some of them up there just for the subscribers. I'm going to try and upload one today. And then we will, and we could, and it helps support me and the kind of work that we're doing. If you're watching now, you could send a couple of stars our way as a nice tip of the hat, which is helpful. Hey, Carmine, come here, please. Because I want to talk to you for a second. All right. What do you do? Oh, mommy's going to be so upset with you.
I need my toys.
Okay, you broke. Here, hold these. You broke mommy's Hanukkah candles. This is not a good situation, pal.
Where's Daddy's candles?
Yeah, you're not gonna have access to Daddy's candles. Say hello to everybody.
Why am I holding nails?
Yeah, I don't know. Why did you break Mommy's Hanukkah candles?
Because I didn't.
Why? Mommy's not gonna be happy. Will you say sorry? She might be watching. Say sorry.
Okay.
Say sorry. I was telling everybody how you broke Daddy's Christmas ornament yesterday. Do you remember that?
Who was that?
Who's what?
I need that candle, Dad.
Yeah, the one you broke that Mommy's going to be mad at us both for when she comes back from getting her hair done. Hey, why did you break Daddy's ornament yesterday? Do you feel bad about that?
Yeah.
Did you say sorry?
No.
No? You little punk. How come? Are you going to buy Daddy a new one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got more money than we do, so that's that. Hey, say hello to everybody.
I don't want to.
No. Well, Dorothy says that humiliation is a bad tactic. She doesn't think I should be exposing the fact that you're breaking candles and ornaments. Do you agree with her?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dorothy, he agrees with you.
Grace?
Where's Grace? I don't know if Grace is watching. Grace, give us a comment if you are watching. And for everybody else, please be so good as to share. You got John Regan watching. You got Anita watching. You got James Petrecka, Nancy Schaefer, Randy Michael, Tim Carasano, Albert Matei, Ellen Metzger, who's great. So, Lorraine is going to send you some stars. Say thank you.
I don't want to.
You don't want to say thank you?
No.
No? Okay. Well, so be it. So, all right. Who's going to tell Mommy that you broke her candles? You are or I am?
I am.
Yeah, you are. That's right. I don't want to face her wrath. All right. Who else is watching?
Who's that?
That's Alyssa, who has a very big crush on Daddy, I think. She says he's so cute. Carmine is okay, too. Isn't that funny? That's that. Oh, Dr. Joe Galati is watching.
Why laughing?
Because our friend Jason says he was at your birthday party. You're screaming so violently at Carmine. Is he going to be getting hit soon? Did I ever hit you? No, never. Would never do that. Oh, Angel Gotti is watching. Aunt Angel. Say hello to Aunt Angel. You know who she is? She is in this picture. She is in this picture. Oh, see? That's her. And she's watching us.
Where's the angel?
Well, she's not an actual angel. Angel is her name. This picture, I know Angel remembers. So I'm walking out of, this is from 2006 or 2007. Don't break any more candles. We're in trouble already. This is from 2006, 2007. And Angel and I were walking out of court. And they take our picture and they put this picture in Newsday the next day. And it describes the picture as Angel Gotti accompanied by her associate or something, or her companion, whatever it was. It was funny the way they referred to me. And I would have said the photographer could have just came over to me and I would have told them who I was. But Angel's mom, Victoria, and John's mom, obviously, she was kind enough to frame this for me and blow it up, which was very, very nice. So that's who that was. All right. I am going to, Carmine has broken a whole bunch of these candles. He's gotten us both in trouble. So we are going to, I'm going to have to deal with this. So I am going to log off in a moment. And that's that. Any other questions? Any other comments? I hear him breaking more stuff. This is going to be, it's going to be something. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy congestion pricing. If you're like me and you're going to have to start paying this beginning tomorrow. We're going to light a candle. I would light a candle for the polar bear, Pete Alonso, but Carmine has made some of these candles unlightable. And hopefully you guys can avoid the stomach bug. And you can please email me if you have any suggestions for a gift for my sister Claudia. And that's that. Any other questions? Jason, I'll look forward to seeing you at your birthday party next week. And for anyone that wasn't invited, I won't tell them that I'm going either. So that's that. All right. Please subscribe. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. If you did not yet listen to the podcast of Friday's show, you missed a fine edition of Ask Frank Anything. So you can check out the podcast at, you just search The Other Side of Midnight in any podcast app, or you can go to fmwabc.com. Check it out there. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. Stay warm. Good luck shoveling. And that's that. I'll see you on the radio.